Hi, I'm Susie, and I want to show you today how to do 3D acrylic petals. They might make you want to pull your hair out. They'll drive you crazy, but I got a few tips that might help. Let's get started. I've got 2 coats of gel black on here. You can do this with polish too. I just did this with gel so it would dry up really quick. I've been practicing a little just so I can review my tips for you. This is a sneak peek of an awesome product. This is my distributor, and she's releasing this new line the end of April, but I get a sneak peek to play with it. And why it's a great product is because it's slow setting, which is really important when you're trying to do especially 3D petals or acrylic flowers or bows or anything that you're trying to do. I'm a sucker for packaging, so I'm really excited about these. They're beautiful. This brush that I'm using, this is my regular brush that I use for acrylic. You can see the size difference. This is what I use for the acrylic nails, and this is what I'm going to use. They basically call them like a detailer. I always like to keep the cap on. It keeps it nice and kind of soft bristles. So this detailer here is going to be crucially important for what we're trying to do. Okay, I got my Ugly Duckling liquid, and I poured that into a little dapping dish. The trick to making 3D acrylic petals, these will end up looking like a flower, as you can see, but we're going to do it in petals. The biggest trick with it is really being able to control your liquid to powder. The liquid powder ratio on your brush is crucial to making any 3D art, actually. Actually, it's really quite crucial to developing the nails too, building the acrylic. I have a video on that if you want to check out how to do the detailed about liquid to powder. Check that out. That will help you a lot for this particular technique. So when I dip it in, I'm going to dip in my little brush. So I'm just sort of dipping in just a little bit, but I do push my brush against the side. That also helps to release bubbles. It works for big brushes too when you're doing acrylic. But if you just push it against the side a little, you release some of the liquid. You do not want a lot of liquid, but you've got to get some to begin, right? So I think this one was my white. So I'm going to sit in there for a sec and pick up, oh, see that giant ball? That is just so bad. That's not the size of ball you want. So I'm just going to dip in on the side of the dish, get very, very little liquid. I'm going to dip in to get my size ball, but I'm going to put on the paper towel immediately to release any extra liquid out of your brush. Sometimes if it's too dry a ball, it'll just fall right off. Then I'm going to put it on my nail where I want it to be. Then I'm going to clean my brush immediately and take out any extra liquid. And often when I go into pat, I'm going to push down the center of it, but on an angle against the nail, I'm going sort of tip down, and then I take it and then press the brushes into it. So you're flattening out a bit. And you'll start to see how a petal starts to form. Now in the beginning, you'll make petals that you'll be like, is that a petal? You sort of just make a little bit of a tip, sort of like the edge of the petal. The beauty of this stuff being a slow setting, it does give you time to play. That's the killer thing about acrylic. It can dry rather quickly, especially if you're using a fast setting liquid, which is not an advantage when you're trying to learn petals. But a slow setting is. Okay, so there's a really cute little petal. Go in and get a little more liquid. Go in and get another bead. Small. Drain off the liquid. Place it right on the side there, right under the other one. And then again, it's all in the angle of your brush. You can dry it off a bit more. I have found sometimes I can overwork it and I'm like, oh, I've overdone it and I've just ruined it. I've turned it into just a blob. But you do want to create like a 3D effect in that the leaf is coming up on either side. And I don't know if you can really see that.
Yeah, it looks really good.
He's an expert on flowers.
Because I'm always bringing them.
Okay, so we're gonna squeeze one more little petal in there because when you're doing, oh, look at that guy. See, that is so, it's way too big. See that? He's just way too big. We're just gonna get rid of him. And we're gonna try to get a nice little ball. Oh, that's a good one. Check that out. So I'm gonna release the liquid. And then I'm going to place this little guy right there and clean off my brush. I've tried it this way and you know it doesn't work as well. You've got to do the brush tip from inward to outward. It doesn't work the other way very well at all. It's that motion of flattening it outward. Cute. Okay. I'll be totally honest with you, these things take quite some time to practice. These are very, very, very particular and they're very tiny and you got to work with it really tiny and you got to work with the brush on the drier side. You're actually using those dry edges, which we wouldn't want when we're trying to fill in the nails properly, but we're using that to our advantage to get the lifts and the edges, which we don't look for when we're doing a fill. So with that, I'm now going to put a pearl in the center. So here's my pearls and I'm going to add, I think, a medium-sized one. Now I do this with my clear. I'm going to get a little bit of liquid, my brush, and I'm going to dip into the clear powder. And I'm just getting a tiny little bead. I say tiny, but that's actually too big. So I'm just going to put half of it on there and take the other half. Then I've got my trusty pair of tweezers and I'm going to grab a pearl out of my little pearl dish. Oh, it was much easier when I did it in practice. And I'm going to place him right on that ball of acrylic that I just set down there. And that'll just hold that right in place and it'll secure it right in spot there. So that's kind of cute. Got 3 little petals with a pearl center. Now I'm not finished yet. I'm going to see these caviar pearls, little mini pearls. That sounds nicer than caviar, doesn't it? So again, a little bit of liquid on the tip of my brush, that little tiny brush, a little bit clear, and I'm going to sort of dab it around there. Then I'm going to pick up the pearls right away. There's enough liquid on that brush, the pearls will just grab onto it. So I'm going to show you again. I'm going to add a little bit of pearls in there. I'm going to grab it on my brush and get it and just shove a little in there. I really like this look. It's so simple looking, not simple to do. So you stick in those pearls. That is so pretty. That just like classes it right up in my opinion. Okay, and then I've also got this pigment stuff. It's a purely pigment. It's like this little dust stuff, and you can see, it's like eyeshadow. You can see that on my finger like that, right? Now the brush is wet enough, I don't even have to wet it. And I'm just going to dust the tips of the edges. So like highlighting the edges of those flower leaves, like the petals. And in doing that, it really does kind of bring out those edges, and you might be able to see that a little bit more with 3D look on there. It's very, very wedding-ish. Maybe not the black nails. Although, there's some girls that have black wedding dresses. It's very pretty, actually. So it's very simple. I mean, you can even learn how to do a hibiscus flower and use colored acrylics to suit that. Pansies, obviously all sorts of flowers. I just did a really simple petal this time. But the pearls just kind of jazzes it right up. Gives it sort of a classy kind of look. it's a very simple, sweet design. You don't want to overdo it for particular moments, especially on a shorter nail. I would love to do a long stiletto or a long almond, to do a cascading bunch of flowers, maybe in different spring colors. I mean, I could go crazy. I hope you enjoyed that video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and then you'll get notifications on every new one coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.